Hey y'all, we're getting close to our first frost date. They're actually giving possible frost in about 2 days from now. So, with some of my plants that I'd like to collect seed off of, I need to do it before we have a frost that possibly will, kill some of the plants like impatiens. They're not frost tolerant at all, from my experience. So I thought I'd bring y'all along while I collect a few of these seed. I'm going to show y'all how I do this. With impatiens, you will look for seed pods that look like this. And what you're going to want to do is cup it because, as you can see, it just popped open and the seed are inside of that. And so you're going to want to let these dry out. Any of the seed that I collect today, you're going to want to either lay them on a paper towel or, some kind of styrofoam plate or something like that. Just whatever you want to lay them on and let them dry out. Because you don't want to try to put up wet seed. If you do that, they're just going to mold and be ruined. Also, with impatiens, I wanted to say, they're so easy to start from seed. There's no need in buying these every spring. You just literally, in the spring when you get ready, or right before spring when you get ready to start them, you just sprinkle them on top of the dirt and water them in. You don't even have to cover those up. And in a few weeks, you'll have more impatiens than you know what to do with. Now we're going to move on to zinnias. These are the big zinnias, and you can see I've got a lot of them they've just had it. These plants have had it. Although they've shot up some new growth in the back, it really at this point doesn't matter. So I'm going to go ahead and get some seed off of them. I've got several different kinds right here in this little row. And so you're going to want to take a few of the seed heads like this. Just take the whole seed head. And these are most likely already dried out. But you still want to, even if they look like this, you still want to lay them up for a few days, maybe a week, and let them dry out just to make sure they're good and dry on the inside. But you're just going to pop off the whole seed head like this. And you're going to leave it that way for now. You're just going to leave the whole seed head like that. You're not going to want to really mess with it. And then later you will separate the seed from everything else. But for right now, you just want to leave it whole. Okay, this one is called Cleome. And these are really easy to collect seed, really easy to start from seed. They have tons of little seed heads. And actually, you're probably going to be much better off if you go ahead and, get these off. If you don't want to have Cleome come up everywhere next year. But these are simple. You'll just break off the, you can do the ones that are green too. You don't have to just do the brown ones. But you can see, maybe you can see this. These are, if they're dried already, they're just going to fall out all over your hands. And those are your seed. And I'm going to go ahead and lay these up and let them dry just like all the seeds I collect today are going to dry. They feel dry. But they probably have moisture and stuff just like any of the rest of them because it's just that time of year where it takes a long time for the dew and stuff to completely dry off. And we're having temps this week in the low and mid and upper 60s for highs. So I definitely want to let these all lay out and dry. But that's how you do the seed for the Cleome. And I also want to show you right quick, all of these plants, they will self-seed. I've actually got tons of little zinnias right now that have popped up from where these have already, the seeds have already fell off and have already sprouted. Of course, they're not going to make it, but I'll show y'all right quick. You see all of those? Those are baby zinnias that have just come up from where the seeds have already fallen off. And probably next spring, I will have zinnias and cleome that'll pop up in this area without me even having to plant them, because they're literally all under here, all the way down this whole little row. Now we're at the dahlias. If you want to, dahlias are super easy to start. I've talked about them in other videos. If you have any dahlias in your yard, and it doesn't matter if you bought them from tubers and planted them, you can take these little pods like this. Once they die, you want to make sure that they look like this when you pick them off, because this is going to have seed that will, germinate next year. And you're going to want to take these little heads, and again, just let them dry out. And I'm going to crumble this one, and you can see there's a few little seed here and there. But like I said, even if you bought them from tubers and you've never started them from seed, you can still take off these little heads that are dead, or almost dead. Lay this up and let it dry really good, and then next spring you can start these. And now, if you bought them from tubers, you're not going to get the identical plant that you planted, but you will still have beautiful dahlias. A lot of these I started from seed 2 or 3 years ago. I don't even remember for sure now. But they were super simple, and again, you'll have more dahlias than you really know what to do with. You'll have a beautiful cut flower garden if and if you just know somebody who has dahlias. They're not going to care if you go cut a few of these little heads off where they've done already quit blooming. That one you can pick them at this stage too and let them dry up. I've done them from all different stages. But they're super simple, and you'll have tons of dahlias that you didn't have to spend a fortune on, because there's a big difference in a pack of seed and the tuber packs that you buy, because you get like 2 tubers for like $6-7 versus picking a few of these seed pods off. And especially if you're getting them from somebody else, just remember that you're not going to get the same exact plant that you saw growing, but it'll still be beautiful. Now, you don't have to just take seed from flowers. While I love taking the seed from the flowers, you can also take seed from different herbs. This is a type of herb. I think it's just called a sweet herb. I'm not sure exactly what particular name it is, because when I ordered seed from Baker Creek a few years ago, this was one of the free packs they sent, and they just listed it as sweet herb. But you can take seeds off of any of your herbs that have bloomed too, the same way. The easiest way is just with these, a lot of these is just to kindly run your hand up the little stem, and you'll see all of these little ones, and the seeds are already starting to fall out. I don't know if you can See those little seed right there? But like I said, just lay these up and let them dry, and then actually you can just kind of shake these around and the seeds will fall out, and you can separate them on a paper towel. And this one spreads everywhere, so you might want to be careful with what kind you actually do collect seed from. And this is a vinca. You know, vinca comes in so many different colors. And the seed, they have little seed pods. If you look down the stem, you will see them. There's a ton of them. And so with these, you would just want to break you off some seed pods like that. Almost looks like a baby green bean. And you just want to lay them up and let them dry. And once they dry, this actually will pop open. And the seeds will be in, you'll have tons of seeds. And if you've got multiple colors, you can separate the colors if you want to, or you can just, sow them as mixed colors next spring. But there's no need in buying vinca. If you have any or know anybody who has any that you can collect the seeds off of, there's so many seed pods on a vinca plant. Just this one has probably 15, just this one little stem here. And they're super easy, to plant, to start too. You do have to cover these seeds, but they actually, for me, vinca just sprouts up everywhere. Wherever I've had a plant the year before. The thing is, I won't know what color it's going to be. So it's good, if you're wanting specific colors, it's good to save the seed and label your seed packs when you go to put them up, so you know what colors you're doing. If you're just, if you don't care about the mixed colors, then you don't really have to worry about that. You can just throw them all together in one little pack and be done with it. Now this is a dwarf zinnia. Now you would want to separate these from your other zinnias, even if you don't care about mixing the colors. You would want to separate this one because this one is a dwarf zinnia. And I'll have to put the name of it on the screen because I bought this one 2 or 3 years ago from Swallowtail Gardens. And these, you can see, these have been growing, I don't know, since maybe mid-summer, early summer to midsummer. It's when I planted these out. I started these from seed that I had actually saved last year from the seed I bought the year before. And so these only get maybe 12 inches tall, 10 to 12 inches tall. And I love them because they're so dainty, and they're not actually that small of a flower, you can see. But look how pretty that is. And I think there's a few different colors that you can get too. But with these, it's the same as with the other ones. You just want to, pop off the little seed head like that. And then you're just going to let it dry out because the seed will be down in this part. Echinacea is another great one to save seed off of. The thing with echinacea though is if you've planted a hybrid variety, which I think this one is a hybrid, you can still save the seed and plant the seed. It's going to be kind of like with a dahlia. You're not going to have exactly the same plant. With a hybrid, it's going to resort back to one of the parent plants that they use to make it a hybrid. But you'll still be able to, have echinacea, and they'll still be beautiful. And so with it, you're going to look for the ones that are, more closer to being completely done for. You would, clip this one. You could clip this one. I don't have my clippers with me, so I'm not going to clip this. But your seed are going to be all in here. once it dries out. And once they dry out, they're going to look more like this one. And so if you can find them at this stage, it would be better, because these are actually ready to be, clipped and dried out, and the seed are, going to fall out. These are a little sticky though, so, if you have sensitive skin, you might want to wear some gloves when you clip this, because these are very spiky. Now this one is a coral salvia that I actually got from seed from Swallowtail Garden 2 or 3 years ago. This one is a little bit trickier when you're getting the seed, but you can save seed off of this one too. I did it last year. That's where these come from actually, because the seed packets that I bought from Swallowtail Gardens only had a few seed in them, and I planted those the first year. So I didn't want to buy seed again, so I figured out, how to save the seed off of these. And with these, I'm going to, let me see if I can find a better one where you can see. I'm going to take a plate and just kind of hang it over and do like I did a while ago with the other one. Run my fingers up through there and just pull up these little faded blooms off, because this is what your seed is going to be in. It's going to be inside of this, so you can bust it apart like that, and you can see these are your seed right here. There's another one. Definitely worth saving the seed off of these. They're beautiful. And they're great for the pollinators. They absolutely love them. This is a black-eyed Susan vine. Now it comes in different colors. I've had 3 different colors in this vine. I love it. And this one does self-seed for me. I really don't have to start it from seed, but maybe you're in an area where it won't do that for you, or maybe you just, want to save seed for somebody else or whatever. This is really simple. You're going to look for, on this one, you're going to look for these little pods like this. And they look weird because when you pull back the leaves on them, that's actually the seed pod right there. And you're going to lay these up and let them dry, because they'll turn brown and they'll pop open. And when they pop open, each one of them has like 3 to 4 seeds. And now, I will say, when these pop open, sometimes they'll pop right out of the container you've got them sitting in. So you might want to put a lid on this one when you're letting it dry out. Not really a lid, but a cover, because you don't want to make it airtight, because it'll mold. And so just lay something over the top of it so the seeds don't pop out all over your flower. This is purslane. You can also save seed off of it. It's super easy. I like to just take a little plate and kind of stick it in here and just kind of, shake around like that. The seeds will actually just fall out. You can see all the little seeds in there. And so, again, just lay them up and let them dry. And next year you can start your own purslane. These do kind of self-seed also for me, but they always come up in areas in the yard where I'm not wanting purslane to grow. And so I like to try to save some of the seed and just start them myself. Coleus is another great one to save seed off of. It'll save you, quite a bit of money next year if you like Coleus and you have several different kinds. And it's really easy. It's pretty much the same as saving it off of any of the ones that have stems this way. you just want to kind of run your hand up the stem or shake it a little bit, and you can see, look at all of the seed that just fell off of that coleus, the little black seed, and I only did half of that stem. So this is a big money saver with coleus and really any of the plants that you can save seed off of. The sedum behind it, you can actually save seed off of it too. It's the same way. You would want to clip the head and let it dry out, and then shake it and the seed will come out of it real easy. It'll be tiny like the coleus that you just saw. And you can start seeding from seed too. Although I prefer to do clippings with it because it's faster, it's easy, it's simple. There's nothing to growing any kind of sedum really from a clipping. But if you wanted to start it from seed, you could. This is basil that actually self-seeded itself from last year. I didn't even plant this here. It just came up from the seed that fell off from the pot that I had it in. And so with the basil, you're going to want to look for the limbs that are starting to look brown like this. And, same thing. Just kind of run your hand up it like that. And you can see each one of these is going to have seed in them. Just let them dry out. And there you go. See the seed that just fell out of that? These little black seeds. And you really won't ever have to buy basil again either. Just save you some seed every year from the ones you grow. And you'll have basil every year. And you may even have it anyways, because it may self-seed like mine does every year. But I love the basil, and it actually looks really pretty in the flower bed. But, that would have been something I would have never thought about planting in my flower beds. But it kind of gives you salvia vibes. I mean, that's what it makes me think of. And so, you can see there's like, I don't know, maybe 4 different basil plants here, and I just left them. And I'm glad now that I did, because basil will definitely be something that I'll most likely plant in my flower beds every year, in certain areas. It also is supposed to help deter some of the critters because they don't like the smell of it. So anyways, that's probably all I'm going to show. I mean, seed collecting is so easy and such a money saver till there's no reason not to try it. If you've never done it, just try it. Collect seed out of your yard. Collect seed from, friends and family members' yards. And try it next year and see, what kind of luck you have with it. And if you have good luck, you'll realize how much money you actually save by doing it. So I guess that's all. Until next time. Bye.